So to solve rational equations, you're going to go ahead and make sure that you're setting them up as a proportion. Some of these are already set up as a proportion. If you don't remember what that looks like, it's where you have something over something is equal to something over something. Then you're going to cross multiply. So A and B and then B and C. You're going to solve the remaining equation and then check for your solutions. So for number 1, we're going to cross multiply this. So this is going to be times 18 and this will be times 6. So I'll be left with 18x, and then we're going to be left with plus 54. Let me rewrite it at the bottom because I don't have enough room. So 18x plus 54 is equal to 6x minus 6. Okay, so it's just like if you were to if you were just solving proportions. Like if I gave you something like this, 3 over 10, you would do 40 is equal to 3x and so forth. Okay, so it's just like cross multiplying. So let's go ahead and move on. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and solve. So minus 6x from both sides. I'm left with 12x plus 54 is equal to negative 6. Minus 54 to both sides. That's going to give me 12x is equal to negative 60 divided by 12. Okay, and you're going to figure out if you're going to either have to simplify or if it divides nicely, which this does. So your answer here would be x is equal to negative 5. And that would be your solution. Okay, so now let's look at number 2. Same thing, cross multiply. I'm going to be left with 5v minus 5 is equal to 3v plus 21. Then you're going to go ahead and solve. Minus 3v minus 3v. I'm left with 2v minus 5 is equal to 21. Add 5 to both sides. I'm left with 2v is equal to 26 divided by 2. Your answer is 13. So this should be kind of a review of proportions and solving equations with variables on both sides. So now let's look at number 3. I'm going to multiply, cross multiply. I'm going to be left with 6a minus 18 is equal to 4a. Okay, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to subtract 6a. So I'm going to be left with negative 18 is equal to negative 2a. Divide by negative 2. A is going to equal 9. Positive 9. Let me just have my answers out so I can check myself. Now, number 4. Same thing. Cross multiply. So 2k minus 16 is equal to 5k minus 10. I'm going to subtract 2k. You could have subtracted 5k, but I'm just trying to avoid my negatives. Negative 16 is equal to 3k minus 10 plus 10 plus 10. Negative 6 is equal to 3k divided by 3. Your answer is k is equal to negative 2. So now for number 5, number 5 is going to be different. So the way we solve 3 and 4, the only reason it worked out is because we had no square or no power of 2. Okay, so, but now for 5, if you look at this one, when we cross multiply, we're going to be left with w squared plus 7w is equal to 5w plus 15. Notice this w squared. We've never had a square so far in these examples. So now I'm going to go ahead and I have to solve this one using any method of quadratics, because as soon as this the squared is there, now we have a quadratic equation. So I'm going to be left with w squared plus 2w minus 15 is equal to 0. So I did that by subtracting both of these to both sides. Now the only way to solve this one is by factoring. So I'm going to be left with w plus 5 and w minus 3. And now you're going to solve. W is equal to negative 5 and W is equal to positive 3. And that's how I got this answer. Right, so I'll do it again for number 6. So cross multiply. I'm going to be left with r squared minus 8r is equal to 20. Now because I have a square again, I can't solve it the way that I did 3 and 4. So now I'm going to go ahead and have to do this using factoring or the quadratic formula or whatever you want. I wouldn't recommend you using the quadratic formula if they're easy to factor. Like for number 5, this was pretty easy to factor. So I wouldn't recommend you to use the quadratic formula. You could, but you don't have to. Now this one, again, it's pretty easy to factor. I'm going to get r minus 10 and r plus 2. Solve. This is going to give me 10. This is going to give me negative 2. Okay, so now let's go to the next one. So now for number 7, same thing. We're going to go ahead and multiply these. Cross multiply. We're going to be left with x squared, or you know what, let me write it down here so I have more room. We'll be left with x squared minus 12x plus x minus 12 is equal to x times negative 7, which is going to be negative 7x. Combine like terms, but again, because you have that x squared there, that's going to be a quadratic. So now I'm going to go ahead and combine these like terms. So I'm left with x squared. Negative 12 plus 7x is going to give you negative 5x. But we still have that plus x again. So this is going to give me negative 4x minus 12 is equal to 0. Now if this is not easy to factor, then you might want to do quadratic formula, but this is actually still pretty easy to factor. So x is going to be equal 6 and x is going to equal negative 2. And just to double check my answers. Yep, got that. And then I'm going to do, I'll do 9 and 10. So again, cross multiply. Whoops. So I'm going to be left with 5k squared minus 5 is equal to 30k minus 30. Move everything to one side so that you can be able to factor. I'm going to be left with 5k squared minus 30k plus 25 is equal to 0. Okay. Let me double check I did that right. So 5k squared minus 5, 30k minus 30. Okay. So now from here, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can factor this. If you want to do the quadratic formula, that's fine. Whatever. As long as it's a method that I've shown you how to do to factor this, I don't care. Or to solve this, I should say. I'm going to go ahead and use the quadratic formula. So remember, negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac. You don't have to use the quadratic formula. Okay? So negative b, that's going to give me positive 30 because it's already negative. 30 squared minus 4ac all over 2a, which is 10. So now I'm going to go ahead and multiply these out. I get 30 plus or minus 900 minus, I'm going to do negative 4 times 5 times 25. That's going to give me minus 500. 900 minus 500 is 400. And hopefully we know that 400 is a perfect square, which is 20. So we're going to be left with 10 plus or minus 20 all over 10. That's a 10, by the way. So your cases is 30 plus 20 over 10. That's going to give you 50 over 10, which is 5. Checks out. And then the other one is 30 minus 20 over 10. That's 10 over 10, which gives you 1. You did not have to use the quadratic formula. I chose to because I didn't want to have to multiply 5 and 25 and then do the whole fraction method. Alright, for number 10, I'm going to go ahead and help you start this one, but you guys will finish it. So same thing, cross multiply. So we're going to be left with 3p squared minus 9p is equal to 4p plus 10. You're going to move everything, combine it to one side, 3p squared. And then you're going to be left with minus 4p to both sides. You're going to be left with negative 13p plus 10 is equal to 0. Again, you can do the whole method of multiplying. You can complete the square. Any method that you want to use as long as it's allowed. I would recommend you to use quadratic formula so that you don't have to multiply 3 and 30. But again, you could. It doesn't really matter. You're still solving the quadratic. Okay, so you'll have, just double checking I did my math correctly, 3p squared minus 9p, yeah. Alright, you guys will finish that one. Let me see. Okay, so 11 and so I'll help you out with 11. So same thing, you're gonna multiply these together. So I'm gonna be left with y squared minus 2y minus 5y plus 10 is equal to 3y squared plus 3y. Let me make sure that I multiplied it correctly. Y squared minus 2y, negative 5y, plus 10, and then 3y squared. Whoops, I multiplied that wrong. So 3y squared, and then plus 6y, minus 4y, minus 8. So let's combine our like terms. So y squared minus 7y plus 10 is equal to 3y squared plus 2y minus 8. Now you're going to move everything to one side. Oops. So I'm just showing it. So minus 3y squared minus 2y plus 8. So I'm going to be left with negative 2y squared minus 9y plus 18 is equal to 0. Now if you notice here, you can factor out, or sorry, no, you can't factor out a 2. So again, you can either multiply negative 2 times 18 and then try and figure out what it is, or you can do the quadratic formula. I'm going to choose to do the quadratic formula, or my b is already a negative, but my b in the equation, whoops, so this one, the b here is already a negative, which means that if this is already a negative, it's going to turn into a positive. I'm going to get negative 9 squared minus 4ac times 2a, which is negative 2. 9 plus 81 plus, we're going to be left with 4, negative 4 times negative 2 times 18, 144. Then you're going to be left with 9 plus or minus 225 over negative 4. But 225 is a perfect square. So you're going to have two cases, 9 plus or minus 15 over negative 4. So your first case is 9 plus 15 over negative 4. It's going to give you 24 over negative 4, which gives you negative 6. And then the other case is 9 minus 15 over negative 4. It's going to be negative 6 over negative 4, which will simplify to positive 3 over 2. So that's a lot of work. Again, you don't have to use quadratic formula. You could have done negative 2 times 18, but I personally wouldn't want to. It's really up to you. Alright, next one. So now for this one, it says for the following problems, you'll need to combine one side of the equation in order to create a proportion. So for these now, so remember we have to do, right? So we're multiplying here. We can't do that here because there's this. So what you're going to have to do is combine one. So first things first, I'm going to do 7x over 9 plus 1/3. But I can't do that unless I find like common denominators. I'm going to multiply by 3 to give me 7x over 9 plus 3 over 9 is equal to x minus 1 over 2. Notice how I can go ahead and combine that now. So I'm going to be left with 7x plus 3 over 9 is equal to x minus 1 over 2. Now you can go ahead and do the cross multiplication, which will leave me with 14x plus 6 is equal to 9x minus 9. Notice how there is no squares, which means I can solve this like I was solving the other ones. Okay, so we're going to be left with 14 minus 9. And like I said, there's no power of 2 here. So we can go back to solving it the way we would normally solve our equation. So we're going to be left with 5x plus 6 is equal to negative 9 minus 6 to both sides. 5x is equal to negative 15 divided by 5. X is equal to negative 3. Okay, let's double check that. Alright, so now for number 14, you're going to do the same thing. Remember when there's no square, so you can just solve it like a normal equation. So again, you have to set this into a proportion so that you can set it equal to the w plus 4. So I'll help you with this one. I need to multiply this one by a 2. And I need to multiply this one by a 3. Okay, I don't have to worry about this because I'm going to set it equal to that. So I'm going to be left with 2w minus 6 all over 6 plus 3w over 6 is equal to w plus 4 over 2. So now combine these over here. You're going to be left with 2w plus 3w, that's 5w minus 6 over 6 is equal to w plus 4 over 2. Now you're going to have to cross multiply. And if you're not left with a w squared, which you shouldn't, then you'll be left with a nice equation. Alright, let's move on to the next one. I will not do 15. I'll just help you out. Multiply this by 2, multiply it by 2. Okay, so you'll be left with 2n minus 1 over 6 minus 2n all over 6 is equal to n plus 4 over 18. You're going to have to combine these two here to be able to keep going. So you'll be left with 2n minus 2n, that is 0. So you're going to be left with your negative 1 minus nothing. So you'll be left with your negative 1 there over 6 and then cross multiply. And I'm going to leave the key so you guys can see it. Same with 16. Let me see how many more examples are left so I can see how many to do. Alright, so I'll do 16 then. So for 16, remember this right here, you have to set it into just 1 so that you can get a proportion. I'm going to multiply this by 2. I'm left with 6h over 4 minus 1 over 4 is equal to 10h over 8. I'm going to be left with 6h minus 1 over 4 is equal to 10h over 8. Now you can cross multiply. You're going to be left with, we're left with 40h is equal to, and then we're going to multiply the 8 times everything. So we're going to be left with 48h minus 8. Notice how there's no square here, which means you're going to have to solve it like normal. Minus 48h minus 48h. You're left with negative 8h is equal to negative 8. Divide both sides by negative 8. You're left with h is equal to 1. Alright, let's look at the next ones. Let's do 17. Whoops. Alright, for 17 we have This again, we have to put it together. The good thing is these are already like terms. So we can just have g minus 2 over g plus 2 is equal to 5 over g plus 4. Now for this one, you're going to be left with a square because look, you have two g's here. So I'm going to be left with g squared plus 4g minus 2g minus 8 is equal to 5g plus 10. Combine like terms. And now move everything to one side because look, you have a square now, which means you're going to have to solve that quadratic. So I'm going to be left with g squared minus 3g minus 18. Now you could either choose to factor it, you can choose to use the quadratic formula. It's really up to you. If I were you, this one is easier to just factor than doing the whole quadratic formula. So I'm going to be left with g minus 6 and g plus 3. So g is equal to positive 6 and g is equal to negative 3. Okay? You have to know which method would be easier. If you want to sit there and do the quadratic formula for this right here, go for it. You're still going to get this, but you're going to take a lot longer to get to that answer. So now 18. Let me see which one I want to do instead. 18 is kind of easy. Let's look at number 20. Or I'll help you with 19, but then I'll do number 20. So for number 19, again, you have to put this together, but you can't. You're going to have to multiply top and bottom by a. You're going to be left with a over 4a plus 1 over 4a is equal to 3 over 2a. You need to combine this so that you can set it equal to 3 over 2a and then cross multiply. Let's look at 20. So for 20, I need to combine this first before I do anything. So I'm going to determine, okay, what is it that I'm missing? This has to turn into this. If I multiply this by 4, I'm going to be left with 4x minus 4. That's what I need. So then I'll have 11 over 4x minus 4 minus 8 over 4x minus 4 is equal to x over 8. Now I'm going to combine this to 11 minus 8. I'm going to be left with 3 over 4x minus 4 is equal to x over 8. Now you're going to cross multiply. I'm going to be left with 4x squared minus 4x is equal to 24. Notice how you have a square again. That means you have a quadratic. You're going to set everything equal to one side in standard form. And then you're going to go ahead and solve. Now, you can do the quadratic formula or you can factor. I'm going to choose to see if I can factor this one. I'm going to take out a 4. X squared minus x minus 6. I'm going to be left with x minus 3x plus 2, which is a lot faster for me. 4 does not equal 0, x equals 3, and x equals negative 2. And I don't know the answer, so let's hope that that's what that was. Yep, x equals 3 and negative 2. And that's it, I think. Next week you'll get the homework for this one.